She also turned toward the angels and continued without ceasing in her loving complaints, saying to them, "Celestial princes, ambassadors of the great and highest King, and most faithful friends of my soul, why have you also left me? Why do also you deprive me of your sweet countenances and deny me your intercourse? For I do not wonder, my lords, at your displeasure, if through my unthankfulness I have merited to fall into the disgrace of your and my Creator. Lights of the heavens, enlighten me in my ignorance in this matter, and if I have been at fault, correct me and obtain again for me the pardon of my Lord. Most noble courtiers of the celestial Jerusalem, have pity on my sorrow and dereliction. Tell me where is my beloved. Tell me where he has hidden himself. Tell me where I can find him without wandering about and without going through the gatherings of all the creatures. But woe to me, for you do not answer, though you are so courteous and well know the hiding place of my spouse, since he never withdraws his face and his beauty from your sight." Thereupon she turned toward all the rest of creation, and in continual anxieties of her love, she spoke to them and said, "Without doubt, you also, being thankful and being armed against all the ungrateful, are exasperated against her who was ungrateful. But even if by the goodness of the Lord you permit me to remain in your midst, although I am so vile, you cannot thereby satisfy my longings. Very beautiful and extensive are ye, O heavens. Beautiful and refulgent are the planets and all the stars. Great and mighty are the elements. The earth is adorned and clothed in the perfumed plants and herbs. Innumerable are the fishes of the waters. Admirable are the elevations of the sea. Swift are the birds in their feathery weight. Hidden are the minerals. Courageous are the animals in their strength. And all of these together serve as a gradual ascent, and in a sweet harmony teach the way of my beloved. Yet they are but circuitous paths for one that loves him, and if I course swiftly over them, I find myself at the end absent from my blessedness. For with the measured approach of these creatures to his unmeasurable bounty, my flight is not content, my sorrow is not allayed, my pains are unrelieved, my anguish increases, my desires are augmented, my heart is more inflamed and faints away in the unsatiating love of mere earthly things. O sweet death in the absence of my life! O sorrowful life in the absence of my very soul and of my beloved! What shall I do? Whither shall I turn? How can I live? Yet how can I die? Since my life is wanting, what force sustains me? O all you creatures, that with your ever-renewed existence and perfections give me such tokens of my Lord, attend and see whether there is a sorrow like unto my sorrow." Our heavenly Lady indulged her sorrow in many other discourses, expressing them in spoken words, such as cannot be conceived by other created understanding. For she alone possessed the wisdom and love properly to estimate the meaning of the absence of God in a soul, since she alone had known and enjoyed his presence in its highest beatitude. But if even the angels, in a holy and loving emulation, were filled with admiration to see a mere creature, and so tender a child, exercising such a variety of acts of the most prudent humility, of faith, of love, of affection, and such flights of a loving heart, who can ever explain the pleasure and delight which the Lord himself took in the soul of the chosen one and in its aspirations, of which each one wounded the heart of his majesty, and which proceeded from a greater and more loving graciousness than he had given to the seraphim? And if they all together, being in the continual presence of the divinity, could not exercise or imitate the example given by the most holy Mary, nor fulfill the laws of love so perfectly as she in the absence and concealment of her God. What was the complacency of the most holy Trinity in this creature? This is a mystery hidden to our littleness, but it is meet that we worship it in wonder and admire it in all reverence. Our most innocent dove found no peace for her heart, nor any footrest for her affections, while thus with incessant sighing she took her flight through all the range of creation and beyond. Many times she sought to approach the Lord in tears and loving complaints. She turned to the angels of her guard and addressed all the creatures as if they were capable of reason. Then she would ascend to that highest habitation by her penetrating intellect and her most ardent affections, where the highest good had met her, and where she, reciprocally with it, had enjoyed ineffable delights. But the Most High Lord, her beloved spouse, who allowed her to possess and yet not enjoy him as before, inflamed by this possession of him only more and more her most pure heart, increasing her merits and showering upon her continually new, though hidden, gifts, in order that, in possessing him the more, she might love the better, and being more loved and possessed, she seek him with ever greater anxiousness and contrivances of her fiery love. I seek him, said the heavenly princess, and I do not find him. Again I was awakened, and, running through the streets and squares of the city of God, I renewed my anxieties. But alas for me, that my hands distilled the myrrh, my diligence is of no avail, my exertions serve only to increase my sorrow. My beloved absents himself. I call him, and he does not answer me. I turn my eyes to seek him, but the guards and the sentinels of the city, and all creatures, were an annoyance to me and offended my sight. Daughters of Jerusalem, holy and just souls, you I beseech, you I supplicate, if you meet my beloved, tell him that I am faint and that I am dying with love.